Good day, everyone. My name is Karen, and I'll be talking to you today about the AFLAC benefits that are going to be offered to you through NIGHTS. Now, a lot of people have heard of AFLAC. They've seen our commercials on TV, but they really don't know what we do. Basically, what AFLAC is we're a supplemental benefits company. And all that really means is that we are not Major Medical. Major Medical's job is to make sure that doctors and hospitals get paid if you're sick or you're hurt, but AFLAC's job is to make sure that you get paid if you're sick or you're hurt. And the reason we do that is because even with really good health insurance, there's still things that you have to pay out of pocket. They call them co-pays, deductibles, co-insurance, but it's just all money that you have to pay. So AFLAC pays you the money, and then you take the money and you can use it to pay co-pays and deductibles, or you can use that money to keep your lights on, make your car payment, pay your mortgage, make sure your children's daycare is paid, or buy groceries. Once you get the money from AFLAC, we don't care what you do with it. It's your money to make the decisions with. And we think who better than you to know how that money is best to be spent. Once you buy an AFLAC policy, it's that price forever, so the price never changes. And so it's something that you can keep as long as you want. It is portable, so if you ever left NIGHTS for whatever reason, you can take it with you and we can bill you at home for those policies. So it does make it a great investment for you and your family. So the first policy I'm going to talk about is short-term disability. And Sherry talked about this earlier through another company, but AFLAC does offer short-term disability as well. We have found that it's a little bit less expensive if you buy the AFLAC disability if you are under the age of 49. Now remember, AFLAC locks everything in, so you're 49, you're under 49 for as long as you're on the policy. It's not going to go up when you hit 50, so it's going to be locked into that rate. So both short-term disabilities are going to pay you after 2 weeks, after 14 days, and they're both going to pay you for 6 months. The main difference is going to be that AFLAC has a longer look back on the pre-existing conditions. And what that means is that if you've been treated for anything in the past 12 months with AFLAC, they're not going to cover that for 12 months. Okay, so there's a 12-month wait on anything that may be pre-existing. So please keep that in mind when you're looking at the policies. If you think you have something pre-existing, then maybe the other company may be the right company for you. So the next policy that I'm going to talk about is the accident plan, and that one's going to cover you for any injury on or off the job. Okay, so since I'm not very graceful, I get hurt more than most people. So I like to be prepared for coverage for accidents. So on this particular policy, this plan is going to pay you $1,000 if you're admitted into the hospital, $250 a day every day that you're there. If you go to the emergency room, it's going to pay you up to $200 for going to an emergency room. It's also going to pay for ambulance, $200 ground, $1,500 air. It's going to cover you for things like major diagnostic tests like MRIs and CAT scans at $200 a year. Follow-up treatments are going to be paid for you as well, up to 6 follow-up visits at $35 a piece. Physical therapy as well. I like the fact that it has an appliance benefit, so it covers things like back braces, knee scooters, walking boots, crutches, all these things that we do have to pay for out of pocket now on our health insurance. They're going to look at your injury and pay you a lump sum for that injury up to $12,500 for your injury. There's also some life insurance built into this plan, $50,000 if you were killed in an accident. Once a year, this plan will pay you $60 for having a wellness exam done. So even if you're on your health insurance, you don't pay anything to do your wellness, this plan will pay you the $60 every year for having it done. There's an additional benefit for playing organized sports. So if you have children that play sports, it's a great plan to have. And it also has some family lodging benefit as well if you're hurt while you're on vacation. This plan's $9.78 a paycheck for an individual. So if you're someone who rides a motorcycle, if you're someone who likes to test yourself physically, if you have kids that play sports, it really is a good way to protect yourself financially for any big injury or accident that may happen. So the next plan that I'm going to talk about is the hospital choice. Now this policy is going to pay you for any admission into the hospital for any reason. So on the hospital choice plan, the plan is going to pay you $500 if you're admitted into the hospital. It's going to pay $100 if you just go to the emergency room and they send you home. Rehabilitation unit will be paid as well. So if you're admitted into the hospital and then they send you to a rehabilitation unit, there's a benefit there as well for that. It's also going to cover you for some doctor visits. It pay you $25 for 3 for an individual and up to 6 for a family. Lab tests and x-rays have a benefit, as well as the major diagnostic tests and exams. Ambulance benefit too, $200 ground, $2,000 air, also has a benefit in here. That's where this plan stops. It doesn't go to the hospital stay and surgical care rider. You can get that part of the policy, but right above that, from there up, is what we call guarantee issue. So we don't ask you any health questions, and everybody can be covered for that. But again, it does have that pre-existing exclusion, which means they are going to look back 12 months for anything pre-existing, and they will not cover that for 12 months. But if you do want to get the hospital stay and surgical care rider, that's going to cover you for surgery, for invasive diagnostic exams like colonoscopies. And it will cover you while you're in the hospital per day and if you're put in the intensive care unit. That does have some health questions that you do have to answer. And if you're interested in hearing more about that, absolutely get with me and we can go over the health questions on that specifically. So that policy starts at $1,332 for an individual. That's just the extended benefit rider and the $500 on admission. So just know that that's how that policy runs. The next plans that we're going to talk about a cancer plan. And the cancer plan is going to cover you if you're ever diagnosed with any form of cancer. Now, anyone who knows me know this is near and dear to my heart, so I'm really concerned about people and being diagnosed with cancer. It is a very scary disease. 1 in 3 people will get diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. So on this cancer plan, option 1 is going to pay less than option 2. Option 1 costs less, so the benefits are going to be less. So you can see on this plan that on the cancer screening benefit, it's $25. So every person covered under the plan would get $25 a year for going for their physical. It is going to cover, when you're initially diagnosed, you're going to have a benefit. You're going to have a benefit for chemo, radiation, hormonal therapy, anti-nausea benefits, stem cell and bone marrow transplant, skin cancer. There's going to be extended care facility, home health benefits for you, annual care, ambulance, surgery, chemo, radiation, egg harvesting. Again, lots of benefits for you. And I'd like to show you option 2 too, so you can just look at the difference between the two. So option 2, again, is going to have those benefits of the cancer screening, the initial diagnostic benefit, second opinion, radiation, chemotherapy, anti-nausea. This is all money that comes to you for treatment. You know, the one thing that having a cancer plan isn't going to do is stop you from getting diagnosed with cancer, but it is going to make getting through it easier. And if I can take one stress, one little thing off someone who's going through cancer, that they don't have to worry about money, then I've done a really good job. So please take a look at the cancer plan if you have a history of cancer in your family. If you don't, again, 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. So at some point in time, someone you know will more than likely be diagnosed with cancer. So covering yourself for it is a really, really good idea. If you choose a cancer plan, there is a rider that can go with the cancer plan, and the rider is called the AFLAC Plus rider, and that rider will pay you $5,000 if you are diagnosed with any one of these 15 specified or critical illness events. So heart attack, stroke, coma, paralysis, type 1 diabetes, brain trauma, Alzheimer's, which I'm sure at this point in my life I have, Parkinson's disease, MS, Lou Gehrig's disease. So it's something that would pay you a lump sum if you were ever diagnosed with that. The rider is just a few pennies more. It doesn't add a whole lot to the cost of the plan, but it is a good way, again, you know, $5,000 could help cover those out-of-pocket expenses that you may have on your health insurance. So the next plan that I'd like to talk to you about, which would be our last, I could get the lovely thing to work with me, would be critical illness. And the critical illness plan is a plan that covers you for heart attack, stroke, coma, end-stage renal failure, coronary artery bypass surgery. So again, those major events. So this plan will pay you $7,500 on diagnosis. So when you're diagnosed with a heart attack, stroke, It'll also pay you per day while you're in the hospital. If you see up here, if you're admitted into intensive care, it starts at $800 a day and then goes up to $1,300 a day. Step-down units are $500, and then regular rooms are $300 a day. No lifetime maximum on that. First occurrence benefit, that's $7,500. You also have a benefit for surgery, Tier 1 or Tier 2. There's also a benefit in here for doctor visits. So after you're done, you're out of the hospital, you have some aftercare that you need. This plan will pay $125 a day for up to 75 days afterwards. So if you needed some home health aid or dialysis or physician visits, nursing home care, they would pay $125 a day for up to 75 days afterwards. Ground and air ambulance also covered. So again, a great plan to cover those things for you. This policy starts at $7.80 for an individual. So it is age banded, so it is something that you do have to look at your age, but once you purchase it, it's locked into that rate forever. One of the things that people ask me about all the time is whether, how to make a claim. You know, this stuff sounds great, but if I can't use it, if I can't make a claim, then what good is it? Well, AFLAC is really good about doing that. We have something called one-day pay, and if you go on AFLAC.com, you can go in and just put your policy number in, set up an account for yourself, and you can do all your claims online. The one-day pay is set up for things like wellnesses and small claims. If you have bigger claims, you can still do them online, but they just take like 3 or 4 days to process. If you put your bank account information in there, they'll send it in direct deposit, and you're done. Once the claim is been processed, the money's in there the next morning. So it's a great feature. But if you ever run into anything and you're not really sure what to do, or you have some questions, or you just really want to sit down with someone and say, do I have the right paperwork? You can always call me. I'm always willing to come and sit with anybody and help you do a claim and make sure that it gets processed. So, of course, I'm always available to you. My information's in the guide. So, yeah, I mean, reach out to me however you want to. So I hope I've answered all your questions. I hope that we've done a good job of explaining the benefits to you. But again, if you need me at any time, please reach out, and I would love to talk to you. I would love to speak to you about these benefits. Unfortunately, AFLAC isn't a benefit that you can do through the enrollment system, so it is going to be a separate paper in your enrollment packet that you will fill out. And when you fill out that paper, the paper basically says, yes, you're interested in talking to me, or no, you're not. The paper only sets you up with a meeting with me one-on-one. We go over the benefits and see if they're a good fit for you. So don't feel like if you fill out that paper, you've locked yourself in. We still have some things we need to go over and make sure that it's a good plan for you. So don't forget to turn those papers into HR. And to please look at your AFLAC information, because it's really important that you view that stuff. Again, you have a wonderful day. Take care.